The Parental Protection Act in Florida is becoming the most talked about issue in recent memory, and with good cause. The Democrat state-run media has wrongfully dubbed it the Don't Say Gay bill. Now you may ask yourself why. Well, because they intentionally lie to people, and that lie can be perpetuated through the media. That's why they do it. So here's Jen Psaki continuing this lie when asked by Peter Doocy of Fox News if the White House believes that kindergartners should be learning about sexual orientation and gender identity.
So if you guys oppose this law that bans classroom instruction about sexual orientation and gender identity in K through 3, does the White House support that kind of classroom instruction before kindergarten?
Do you have examples of schools in Florida that are teaching kindergartners about sex education?
I'm just asking for the president's opinion.
I think that's a relevant question, because I think this is a politically charged, harsh law that is putting parents and LGBTQ plus kids in a very difficult, heartbreaking circumstance. And so I actually think that's a pretty relevant question.
Now, thank God somebody asked this question. Somebody needed to ask it to really put these people into the place of having to answer for the resistance to this bill. Now, I do have to side note, though, and just say every time I hear Psaki respond to people who disagree with her, it's like being in an 8th grade debate class. First of all, the woman refuses to actually state a position when opposed. She rather than, secondly, jumps over to talking about how people feel, whether or not the thing is true or should be done. And then third, she totally contradicts herself by claiming on the one hand that kids need the freedom to learn these things in their classrooms. And then, and by the way, learn these things, the insanity of transgenderism. Kindergartners really need to learn that, even 3rd graders. On the other hand, she wants to say, well, it's a constitutional right, but it's not happening in schools anyway. So it's enough to drive you totally insane when you pull back the curtain and you realize that in Oz, the people that are actually pulling the levers of our institutions are basically 8th grade debaters, or worse. But let's put that last assertion to the test. This is not happening in schools. So that's what she says. That's what she tells Peter Doocy. Show me one school in Florida where this is happening. This is repeated a lot. So here's some proof.
I'm going to share one of my missteps. When I started my first year teaching with the health and wellness team, I had been given a title to a book, so I went to our school library to pull it. And I pulled it thinking I had the right one. I didn't. And I read through, I'm like, this is really progressive stuff. But it was my first year, so I'm like, okay, we're just super progressive. So I went in there guns blazing, and I just went for it. And I ended up talking about the vulva and the labia with pre-cares, and it was just one of those moments, everybody's looking in horror, and I'm like, oh no, I made a really big mistake. And I share that with you because it's not perfect, right? It's a practice. So be kind to yourselves when you're like delving into this.
Now, in fairness, I don't know if this happened in Florida, but it doesn't really matter. It's proof that it is happening. And now, just to be a little bit more charitable, this woman doesn't know she's being recorded, and she didn't know that we would know that she did this. Thank God she was. And just so you know, she was joking about a mistake that she made. But notice what she said in the joke. Well, I just thought that we were a progressive school. So the dirty little secret here is that there are 2 kinds of parents on this issue. Those who believe that it is absolutely normal to talk about transgenderism, and those that don't. Those who believe kids are useful tools, and those who wish to honor and protect the innocence of kids. You can catch brand new episodes of Indie Thinker with Reed Uberman every Monday, and weekly bonus episodes to keep you thinking throughout the week. But you have to subscribe and click the bell to be notified when new episodes drop. If you enjoy this content, make sure to like this video and share it with friends.